Now we'll see how to place a lump sum order for purchase. To place a purchase order, you need to go to the OpenMF option, select the AMC name, select the type of scheme you would want to place an order for. You would see the schemes in that particular scheme type displayed. Either you could choose the scheme from the drop down, or else the second option would be to type a keyword of the particular scheme in which you would want to place the purchase order. Once you enter the keyword, click on view. All the schemes which have the keyword that you've typed would display in the scheme watch. Some things to be noted before you could go ahead and place the purchase order. If you notice, there are two schemes of the same name that are mentioned here. However, if you take a look at the scheme code, you will notice that the scheme code are different. One has an L1 mentioned after the scheme code, one does not have the L1 mentioned after the scheme code. The difference between these two schemes is that in case if the value of the order is 2 lakhs or above, you need to select L1 as the scheme. In case if the value of the scheme is below 2 lakhs, then you select the scheme code which does not have the L1 mentioned. Next, have a look at the purchase flag. If the purchase flag mentions as Y, the scheme would be available for purchase. If it mentions as N, the scheme is not available for purchase. Next, check the purchase transaction mode. In case if the purchase transaction mode says it is DP, it would mean that you can place an order in the DMAT as well as in the physical mode for purchasing this particular scheme. In case if it mentions D, it would mean that this scheme is only available for purchase in the DMAT mode and not available for purchase in the physical mode. In case if it mentions as only P, it would mean that the scheme is available for purchase only in the physical mode and not in the DMAT mode. Next would be the purchase value. If you notice, the minimum value is 500 mentioned for this particular scheme. This scheme does not have the L1 mentioned. So, you can purchase between 500 rupees to 1,999,000 rupees in this particular scheme. In case you want to purchase for 2 lakhs or above, select the next scheme mentioning L1 in the scheme code. Now, in case if you want to place the purchase order for an amount below 2 lakhs, select the scheme without L1 mentioned, click on purchase. The next page that opens up, enter the client code. Next, select if you want to purchase in a physical or DMAT mode. In case if you have an existing folio with units for this particular scheme, select the transaction mode as additional or else retain it as fresh. In that case, a new folio would be generated. In case if you are going to select the additional option, enter the folio number, then mention the amount for which you want to make a purchase for. Next, select the EUN declaration as Y, enter the EUN number and click on purchase. Once you do this, an order gets placed on the system and it would show in the order details below. Once you place an order for purchase, your client will receive one message and two mails. One message would contain the order details and one mail would contain the order details. The second mail would contain the payment link. Modes of payment would be shown to you in another video. Also, please make a note of the timelines for which you can place an order and also details of the allotment. There are basically three types of orders. The first one is a liquid scheme order. Second is what is known as a high value transaction order, which would be for non-liquid funds, that's debt and equity funds, for amounts ranging from 2 lakhs and above. And the third type would be non-liquid debt and equity orders for amounts below 2 lakhs. In case if you would want an NAV in the liquid fund for T-1, that is the historic NAV, you would need to place an order on the system before 1:30 p.m. Ensure that the funds are credited into ICCL's account by 1 p.m. in order to get the benefit of the historic NAV. Also, there is a differentiation for the scheme code in liquid funds. In liquid funds, all the schemes would have L0 mentioned at the end of the scheme name, at the end of the scheme code. These are the schemes which will provide the historic NAV. In case if you place an order with the scheme code which does not have L0 mentioned, then the order will be sent across for processing the following day. Also, in case if we do not receive the funds by 1 p.m. on T day, the order will be sent across for processing. However, the client will receive the credit or will receive the NAV depending on the credit of the funds. In case if you are making a purchase in non-liquid, that is debt and equity funds, and you select the scheme code which does not have L1 mentioned, then in that case you can place an order by 3 p.m. on T day and the funds to be initiated by 9:30 morning on T+1. Here we would wait for the credit to come to us for the next 5 working days. In case if the funds do not come to us in the next 5 working days, the order would get cancelled. However, there will be a provisional allotment that would be done and units will be allotted to the client on a provisional basis till 5 working days. In case if the credit happens, the units will be available freely to the client. In case if the credit is not received by BSE, then in that case the allotment will be reversed. In case you are placing an order for high value transactions, that is for schemes valued at 2 lakhs or above, you need to select the scheme code ending as L1. For such schemes, you can place the order till 2:30 p.m. Your funds have to be credited to BSE's account by 2 p.m. in order for the allotment and the NAV of the same day to be given to your client. In case if the payments are initiated, however, if we do not receive credit by 2 p.m. on T day, your client will receive the NAV as and when the credit is done in BSE's account. In case if you are making a purchase in a demat mode in any of these schemes, units will be allotted and the NAV will be given for the day when we receive the credit in our account, irrespective of it being a liquid fund, a high value transaction or a low value transaction. Thank you.